Hi everyone, Nightfire Ox here. If you haven't already, please make sure to support the official release of Tower of God. Now, let's get into it. The next we meet with the group, they are queued up for another test. While waiting outside, Khun and Bam have a conversation. Khun, wondering what Bam is looking at, asks him. Bam states that he has never seen it so bright. Khun wonders what he means by this. Bam asks Khun if the blue thing in the window is called a sky. Khun replies that it is indeed the sky, and does not understand why Bam is asking such obvious things. Bam then mentions that if you keep climbing the tower, will you eventually be able to see the stars? Khun is confused by this. Everyone in the tower knows that the stars are only a legend. Khun, like Leroro, explains that everything they see from the sky to the water is created by Shinsu. He has heard that there are stars in the outside world, but they don't exist in the tower. Khun tells Bam just to focus on the test. Suddenly, a scream comes from the testing room that throws everyone off guard. Khun wonders if the screams are coming from the room. As time passes, Khun begins to realize that the screams are only heard so often. And if that's the case, then the teams who have screamed have failed. As he is pondering this, more screams are heard. He begins to think that the success rate must be really low, considering only 3 out of the 10 teams who have entered have not screamed. Meanwhile, while Khun is pondering, another regular approaches and tells Khun and Bam that he knows a hint that may help him with this test. Bam is ecstatic, but the regular tells him not to be so loud, so that others don't overhear. Khun is not so sure of the regular, and asks how would he know. The man replies, deduction, then explains that he was chosen because of his intelligence. Khun fights back, we have no clues. What will be the basis of your deduction? The regular then says, what do you mean no clues? The biggest one is given during each test. It is the time. Anyone who has failed has done so within 5 minutes. Anyone who exceeded that time limit has failed. Khun agrees that he has come to the same conclusion. The regular then states again that no matter what test is in there, it should be completed in 5 minutes. Khun is still skeptical. To Khun, this regular is only telling him his hypothesis. If it's correct, he would be right. But if it's wrong, it will be Khun's team who pays. Just then, more screams are heard, but before Khun or anyone else have time to react to it, their team is called. As they enter the room, they get their first glimpse of the test. We then pan over to the ranker who will be giving the test. He calls himself Hansung. We open up with a flashback of Khun. The flashback seems to be a conversation about how a new princess was chosen. However, the princess chosen was not Khun's sister, and the consequences to this would be that Khun would be abandoned. It's made clear that Khun seems to have a lot of trauma from this. During the flashback, we see a woman grab Khun's shoulder. She tells him that from now on, Khun can't make any more mistakes. He shouldn't listen to anyone, nor trust anyone, and that he should only walk the path that is best for them. If they do not, they all die. It is then followed up by a multitude of apologies, and we see Khun look defeated. Back in the testing room, we see a clock. Then Hansung gives an explanation of the test. It's really simple. Within 10 minutes, find the real door and open it. If you find the door within 10 minutes, you pass the test. Furthermore, there are no more hints. Khun gets upset by this. How are they supposed to know which door it is without any further hints? Time continues to tick, whether Khun is happy about it or not. Khun uses the information he has to determine the correct door. If they get this wrong, they will die. Khun notices the clock in the middle of the room, but does not understand why it is there. They have pockets to use as a timer. He remembers what the regular says, but dismisses it. He can't trust anyone. He continues to fight himself on the hint the regular had given. All the while, the clock continues to whittle down. Khun all of a sudden hears a thud and turns around to see what happened. Rak had opened the door. Khun becomes angered and asks him, what is he doing? Rak states that if there weren't any hints, then wasn't the obvious thing to do to guess? Khun thinks that this has doomed them, but we end the chapter with a smile from Hansung. Episode 13 picks up almost where we left off. Khun is yelling at Rak for picking a door by himself. Rak argues back, asking what Khun would have done, and if he had a better idea. Before any more arguing can occur, Hansung begins to clap. He then gives congratulations and tells them they have passed. The group is confused by this. Khun angrily asks what he means by passed. Hansung is confused. He says, why? Aren't you pleased? Khun states that it is not that, but... To which Hansung lays out the test. To pass the test, all you had to do was open a door within 5 minutes. They opened the door within 5 minutes, therefore they passed. Khun has difficulty accepting this as fact. He argues some more with Hansung. Hansung gave them no rules, but expected them to know to open any door within 5 minutes. What are they supposed to evaluate in a test like this? Hansung comes back, stating that they did give him hints. It's just that he did not trust them. Hansung goes on to say that he knew Khun would be like that because of the trauma he incurred after the fight of the Khun family. He tells Khun that his biggest weakness is that he can't do anything without insurance. If Khun is not insured success, he would not have opened it. However, Khun got lucky and had teammates who could open the door, and that the world would not wait for him to make a decision. He needs people he can rely on that will open doors without hesitation. Hansung then congratulates the team once again and sends them on their way. But not before telling Khun one last thing. He states that his bag looked rather heavy. After the team passes, we see a number of panels of other teams passing, and it all seems that each team has come to their own conclusion on what the test is. It isn't until we get to Shibisu's team, though, where Shibisu guesses correctly about what the test is. Hansung is impressed that Shibisu was able to figure it out, and Shibisu states that it was simple. There were 3 hints in total. The first was the screaming. The second was the clock in the room. Shibisu noticed that it was ticking in 5-minute cycles. And the last was that there were no more hints. In other words, you don't need to look for any more. The answer can be drawn from what was given. Once all the tests are complete, we see the regular from earlier talking with Hansung. He asks why he was told to give out the hints. Hansung then states that he asked him to do that because not everyone saw the hint as helpful. Some saw it as poison. So by giving out the hint, it was not always helpful to the regulars. They could have drawn the truth from it, or they could have seen it as poison. The only way they could have known for sure is if they tried to use the hint themselves. And with that, Hansung examination is clear. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.